All right, you two, we back, man. I know it's been a couple days. I'm probably uploading this video a couple days late because I already took this thing to the range. So I wanted to get y'all that range report ASAP, man, so y'all can see exactly how I feel with the new trigger shoe on here. YouTube, you already know, man, we clear, safe direction. Let's do that one more time. Clear, safe direction. Yeah, man, we gonna get right into the video, man. Y'all already know how we coming. So like I said, nonetheless, man, I wanted to get this this trigger report out to y'all so I could let y'all know exactly, how my experience was. Obviously, if y'all watched the last video, then y'all know already that I already had the Glock performance trigger in this gun in the 19X for about 2 years now. And the only adjustment that I did, for those of you that don't quite understand how the trigger mechanisms work, because listen, man, I'm no professional in no form or fashion. I'm still learning a lot of stuff on my own. So I'm literally just learning how, the entire trigger system works, at least in a Glock. I know triggers work differently in every gun. I mean, for the most part, they work the same, but they also have different ways, the trigger operates as far as like the safety systems and all of that go. So I'm not going to get too into that, talk your head off. I'm not going to get too technical or nothing like that. But basically, I already had the Glock performance trigger in here. It was a full drop-in kit, OEM. So YouTube, we're not doing any aftermarket modifications, man. This is an OEM part, so please do not flag the video. But yeah, basically the Glock performance trigger, man, is just a drop-in kit that just drops right into the gun. You know what I mean? You pop out the old trigger, you pop in the new trigger, there you have it. Comes with the shoe, the trigger bar, the trigger housing, everything that you need for the trigger to operate. So being as though the Johnny Glocks operates similar in the sense of they sell the kit to upgrade just little parts for the Glock performance trigger, like the striker, the connector. I didn't do any of that. I simply just got the shoe because I just wanted a different shoe on the gun. I felt like I already told y'all, if y'all watched the video, then y'all know I was having trouble with the old Glock performance, the OEM performance trigger shoe kept getting hung up, like almost on the frame. There's been reports of people saying that theirs got hung up actually on the frame. Mine's didn't, but it's a few times where it came close to it, and it would just get gritty after a few rounds. You know what I mean? After a couple hundred rounds and not cleaning it, it will most definitely get gritty, and the reset will almost like hesitate. The reset just wasn't good on the performance trigger shoe. So that's the only reason why I went and upgraded the shoe to the Vex shoe, the JG Vex shoe, because it eliminates all of that. It eliminates all that pre-travel. It eliminates the over-travel. A much cleaner break. Like everything that was stated about this shoe was not an advertisement. And I will give it to Johnny Glocks on that because this thing performs exactly as it stated on the website. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that because this trigger shoe is not cheap. For some of y'all, it might not seem like a whole lot of money. I'm not going to get into pricing, man, because I don't want YouTube flagging me once again. We're not promoting the sales of anything on this channel. Firearms, no firearm sales, no sales of any kind. So I'm not gonna get into that. If y'all want to know how much it costs, y'all do the research on your own. Hit the website and check it out. I have no affiliation to Johnny Glocks whatsoever, but like I said, I do appreciate the product that he sells because I got the shoe, and like I said, everything that I read up on the shoe was definitely a go. I don't plan on carrying this until I at least run another 500 to 600 rounds with the trigger shoe. And right now I have about 600 rounds through it. Just about, if not over, from the last range session that I did. I was only supposed to shoot about 200 or 300 rounds, man, but I really was digging how the trigger felt. The shots were, like the follow-up shots were on point. The reset was great, brought me right back to the target. My groupings were great. Just like night and day difference with the OEM performance trigger shoe and the JG Vex shoe. Like, this shoe definitely makes a whole lot of difference, man. And like I said, I was just trying to get it dialed in to make sure that the break is correct and it's not too light, but also not too much over travel. Believe it or not, I know that sounds crazy because it's like, why would you want to carry with a super light trigger? But this trigger, I'm not really going to say what I think it weighs because I'm not really too good with that. I don't have like the trigger checker, the one that checks like the poundage and all of that. So based off like just my hand dialing it in, like my finger dialing it in, I would say this is probably breaking at like 4 pounds, maybe 3.5 to 4, opposed to like, with the OEM performance shoe, it might be breaking at like 5 pounds, 4.5 to 5. This might have dropped it down to about a 3.5 to 4 pound pull, because you could definitely feel the difference in it. I'll do a quick pull for y'all just so y'all can see. As you can see, there's no pre-travel whatsoever. Just as he stated, that pre-travel gets eliminated immediately. So as soon as you hit that safety lever on the shoe, it brings you right to the wall. And I can show y'all right there. And there's your break. I'm going to do it one more time for y'all so y'all can see. Hit the safety lever, brings you right to that wall. And the wall is a stout wall, man. You feel the wall. It's defined. It's not like with the performance shoe where like you got like a mush wall. Like the creep to the wall was pretty short after the pre-travel with the OEM shoe. It brings you straight to that wall, but the wall was always mushy to me. Like over time, I started to realize that like it wasn't like a defined wall. So like if you hit it just hard enough, it'll break right through that wall. And Johnny Glock does talk about that in the video where he talks about the performance trigger and the shortcomings of it. Basically, you could blow through that wall with ease. With this one, you're not doing that. Like you can see, I'm kind of giving it pull, and like it's not going unless I actually really pull the trigger like I just did right there. And then I'll show you how to reset. That's the reset right there. Now, normally with the OEM shoe, with the performance shoe, it will push my finger damn near all the way out to just the whole point of just the reset would just be pointless. I would just have to reset the entire trigger because literally the spring would just push me out. With this one, that's not happening. You hit the wall, break, and then there you have it. This almost like literally the reset is right there. So for me, it's comfortable enough that it's still, a heavy enough trigger that it can be carried. My thing is more so about reliability. And so far, I have 600 rounds through the trigger shoe, like I said, but I want to put like another at least 500 to 600 rounds, and I feel like I will be comfortable with carrying it. Just because, any possible hiccups or anything like that, anything could happen, pins might come loose. It's a lot of things there's possibilities, that I've read up on that could happen. Not saying it's going to happen to me, but I would rather just wait until that happens, and not until that happens, but I would just wait to see if I put another few hundred rounds, if it's going to perform the same way. But based on the first range visit, I don't know if I said that right or not, but it was flawless. I didn't have any hiccups whatsoever. Like I told you, when I was dialing in at home, when I first installed it, just dry firing, I was running into an issue, and I think I had to just adjust the little tension spring on the back. I had to pop off the whole thing, take it apart, because what was going on was I will hit it and the trigger will go dead because I think I was over traveling with the little screw in the back, the little spring. So I had to adjust it just where like eliminates the entire over travel, so the break could just be super even. And thankfully I got it there. It took a few tries, man, but I got it there. And when I took it to the range and actually shot it, it was much better. Like you could feel the feedback on the trigger more when you actually shoot it opposed to dry firing. So I do appreciate that because I didn't run into not one issue at the range, man. It was flawless. No light primer strikes, no nothing. So I am going to take it back to the range soon. I don't know how soon because I got to get some more ammo. And I'm going to put, like I said, hopefully another 400 to 500 rounds through it. And that'll be good after that. As long as I don't run into any issues, I will call this trigger safe to carry with the new shoe on it. But like I said, I don't expect for it to perform any different because I know Johnny Glocks is a reputable company and he's been doing this for a long time, man. So if y'all don't know, then he's one of the best guys in the game as far as going with like the triggers and stuff like that. His triggers are really, they perform well. They're great. The way he polishes them and everything like that. I mean, I don't got a full kit from him, but just getting the shoe, I couldn't even imagine getting a full kit from him. I'm sure it's got to be flawless, but I don't really want that because I know that's just going to mean for a super lighter trigger, and I don't want this thing too light, and I also don't really want to tamper with anything because I feel like at the end of the day, the trigger is still OEM, so it's still OEM parts in the gun. I don't really plan on upgrading anything else. If I do add anything else to it in the future, it probably would just be the itch. Like I said, you know, I know I talked about ports and the ramjet or whatnot, but I don't know, man. It's still something about that ramjet that, like, I just like the aesthetics of it. You know what I mean? The look of it. And all right, y'all, I'm back. So yeah, man, like I was saying, something about the ramjet and the ports, like, I know I talked about it, you know what I mean? But I still get the itch, man. Like, I don't know, something about that design. And I think that's just what it is, the aesthetics. Like, who cares how it even performs? Because this gun shoots flat, man. It shoots really flat. Especially with this trigger shoe, you being able to predict, you know, that break. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the break is super predictable, you know what I mean? So it just helps with getting on target really easy, you know what I mean? You're not anticipating that recoil, you know, not the 9 kicks a whole lot, because it doesn't, you know, especially this gun with the full size frame is just a flat shooter overall. So I guess that's what it is with the porch. You know, I really don't see how much more of a difference it can make. But based off what everybody's saying, man, you know, who knows, you know, only the future will tell. But that'll probably be the only other thing that I would change on this thing if I was to do it. You know, I know I'll be going back on my word, but it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? We all do that in the gun community. It's just an itch that you got to scratch. You know what I mean? But other than that, I'm not changing anything else. No extended slide levers or anything like that. For the gun is fine just the way it is, you know. And I already got a few bucks invested into this thing, so it's not going anywhere. I'm keeping this gun. It's here to stay. I'm not doing all of these dialing in with triggers, and I'm not even a trigger guy, man. You know what I mean? I just wanted to see. I already got the performance trigger. I wanted to take it one step ahead just to kind of give it a, you know, just clean that break up a little bit, like I said, man. That's all. But yeah, man, I don't want to talk to y'all too much longer about this trigger, man. Like I said, you know, it's a go. I like it. I mean, the performance trigger, I like the performance trigger. A lot of people, you know, go against it and they say that they had issues with it. Like I told you, I've only had light primer strikes, and I truly think it was the ammo, because after that, I've never had an issue with the trigger ever again, you know, except for the actual trigger shoe kind of just getting, yeah, man, like I said, I've only had that issue with the light primer strikes, and then, like I said, the trigger shoe getting hung up, you know what I mean? So I replaced that already, so that knocked out that issue that I was having. So with the new trigger shoe, I feel like overall this is a great setup, and I do feel like it is viable for carry. It's just my preference that I want to shoot another couple hundred rounds to it before I actually start carrying the gun, just to get used to the trigger as well. Not even for reliability, because I know that this thing is going to be reliable, it's going to perform, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I just don't want to carry this gun when I'm not really used to how the trigger breaks, you know. But it's very predictable, like I said, man. And overall, if you do get the performance shoe, I would recommend just getting the entire kit with the shoe already. You know, if I could do it all over again, I would have just got the kit straight from him, the performance trigger kit with the upgraded shoe. I'm not really too worried about the striker and the connector, because I know that's probably just going to mean for a lighter trigger. And I don't really want that, because the trigger is already lighter, much lighter than what it is when it comes in its OEM form. You know what I mean? Like the trigger that basically comes out of the box with it. The out of the box trigger versus the OEM performance trigger, yeah, it's definitely a big difference. Yeah, but overall, man, like I said, I think it's well worth it. You know, in my opinion, you know, I know a lot of people don't really care too much about triggers. Even me, I'm not really too worried about it. Like I said, it's just an experimental thing I did with the gun, and it turned out to be good so far, man. So only time will tell how reliable this thing is going to hold up. But like I said, I don't expect for it to perform any less than what I've predicted. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, just, I guess, stay tuned for any updates. You know what I mean? I will update y'all eventually. I always kind of do that, you know, maybe like in another 6 months or so, when I've got a couple more 100 rounds through it, and then, you know, let you know. By then, maybe a couple more 1,000 rounds, hopefully. You know, I'm trying to shoot a little bit more often than what I normally do. But yeah, man, like I said, I appreciate y'all for tuning into the video, man. My bad for bringing y'all this long. I didn't mean to make this video this long. Just kind of wanted to explain to y'all pretty much my experience with the JG Vex shoe, man. Glock performance trigger. There we have it, man. Y'all be safe out there. I'll catch you on the next one, man.